know if you can see it, but this rash, this thing is taking over my face. And I mean, I ain't coming from a good place on my face to start with, so.
Now. No self-recrimination.
Why not? What the hell? Anyway, it looks like
Anyway,
we're
we're delicious and we're ready to be served.
here we are, man. We're on with a buffet table of controversy.
Can I ask, do you see the chocolate old-fashioned donuts? Because I don't see any on my side.
No
Damn.
donuts.
I'll take the cinnamon roll.
Yeah, I don't see donuts. I don't see nothing. The catering at this facility is less than.
It's different, isn't it? They're minimalist. They're going for less and less and less. Oh,
yeah. I do see a Bolthouse Farms mocha cappuccino with 13 grams of protein per bottle. So I'm thinking that's.
You think you get Cal Raleigh to hawk that, but nope.
No, well, he's comfortable with hawking shitters. I mean, you know, I mean, what they're missing out here is the opportunity to have him hawk the porta potty, and one of his teammates or his girlfriend or something like that hawking the toilet paper.
Well, I'd like to see him sell that bat that you can use from either side of the plate. You can use it from this side, hit it 470 feet. Wait, there's more. You can use it from this side and hit it 470 feet.
Well, here's a guy that, again, I love this story so much because here you got the Mets, and I'm not gonna knock the Mets, except for the fact that they can't seem to win a freaking ball game.
Giants got swept by Blue Jays. How do I feel about that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Mets took 3 on the chin from the Reds again. But you know, here's a guy. I mean, in Cal Raleigh that again, you, me, anybody that watches this game might have thought that he was a good player, and that the Mariners were doing the smart thing and the right thing by signing him to a deal when they did.
Such a deal.
You know, but the reality is nobody thought, not even Cal Raleigh thought that he was going to produce on the level that he's producing. I mean, this is almost, if you're one of those people that believe that God puts his hand down on somebody's head every season and says, this is the guy for this season.
Or in the case of Mickey Mantle, puts his hand down on his knee.
Yeah. Or Dan Wilson, his manager, who I think has a piece of this action. Dan believes that kind of stuff.
He's a good earner.
He's a good learner. And so there's a certain joy in watching this because it happened to somebody who didn't expect it, as opposed to Mr. $780 million, who has the world on a string and can't figure out how to untangle it. It's he's not happy about this. He's not happy about that. His teammates aren't happy about this. All of a sudden, they're starting to look like the 78 Yankees with one big exception. 78 Yankees won ball games. And all of a sudden, the Mets are 10-24, is it? In their last 34 games. Where
they came out of the All-Star break just like the Giants, asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, where the Mariners are finding their zone. You know, they're finding their good spots. And they seem to be a happy bunch doing it.
What I learned about Cal Raleigh during the All-Star home run derby was the way the ball comes off his bat is very impressive. He must have been a power hitter all his life. Since he was a kid, he's been the guy that hit the long ball. And maybe not so many, but the way the ball wants to get out away from him.
Well, he pops it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he pops it. I mean, it's definitely got a zing to it when it comes off his bat. But he's also a very selective hitter. You know that
You know.
many sluggers of his caliber, they're just up there swinging from their ass.
Dave
And they're
Kingman
just looking
style.
to, hit anything because they hit it and it's going to go somewhere because they have such power. I think Cal is much more, from what I've seen, and I don't get to see him a lot. I hear about him more than I see him. He has a certain selectiveness about what he swings at. He doesn't. Yeah. Well, that's it. That's exactly it. He's taken his ability to handle pitchers and now handles one hitter in the same way himself. So it's good. It's given the town something to get excited about. It's fun to see people get excited about somebody. It's been a couple of years since there's really been somebody around here. I think that you could get excited about in this manner.
The Giants call their problem support. They have a support problem, which means that if you're pitching, they're not going to support you, which means they're just going to figure out a way to let the other team score more runs. You don't have to score 10 runs to beat the Giants. You can score 1 or 2 runs, and that'll be plenty. Save them for later, because we're not going to score any. It's some sort of a statement to the league. And that's how we got 6 games behind. And now the season is winding down. We're heading to the end of this year's activity. We'll be too far out of first place, even if we get a 10-game winning streak, to make the difference, because the Dodgers and the Padres are not going to roll over at this time and let somebody pass them from third place.
Well, and also, and again, I don't want to say that the season's winding down yet. I think that's a little early. Maybe for the Giants, it's winding down, but I think we're in that zone where there's so much, there's still enough time left. It's not early by any means.
It's not early,
but it's not that late. You're in that zone where if you can figure out by the trading deadline, if you can figure out a move to make, if you can somehow figure out how to liven up your team.
Liven up yourself, said Bob Marley.
That you still have a pretty good chance to make up, if you're 6, 8, 10 out. Don't forget, and I don't know, what are they in the wild card?
Well, I don't know about the wild card yet, I must confess, but I know we're 6 games out of first place, and that's too much.
Yeah. See, that's the beauty of it. Well, some people say it's the beauty. I sometimes say it's the beauty. I sometimes say it's the suckage of baseball, because it's, if you are, 6 games out of first place, you still could only be 2 or 3 games out in the wild card.
True.
And so, and as Casey Stengel once said, you just get me into the playoffs and I'll show you what I can do.
Yeah, and he meant it.
Every word of it. He was talking about football at the time, because baseball didn't happen.
So that's the way it was with Casey. He didn't always talk about. He didn't always give the answer to your question. It was an answer.
He didn't know what he was talking about, but he knew what he was saying. So, a couple of breaks for the Giants or the Mets or several other teams can, put them right back in the thick of everything. It's not impossible to think of that, see that happening. I don't think, I mean, again, and I won't do the, 64 Phillies or this or that or the other thing of 69 Mets. I'm just saying that these teams still have an opportunity.
Who can the Giants have from the 69 Mets, please? Go back in time and trade me somebody. Who am I getting?
Well, I don't. Well, let's see. Who did the Mets get? Mets got Don Clendenin.
I'll take it.
He was the piece.
He's a player
in 1969 that basically was the one mix, the one piece that they needed, a disgruntled Don Clendenin, because he was, if you remember, he was upset at being traded to the Expos.
He didn't
And
have
he
any
said, "I'm
Canadian
not
money.
going."
I don't
Oh,
have any Canadian money. I don't know where to get any. I'm not dealing with that.
yeah, I'm not. I don't want to get paid in pink money. And so he went home, and then the Mets worked out a deal with the
He went
Pirates.
home. A lot of good stories do not start with that. I only went home. That's usually the end of the story.
Yeah. So, and they traded for him, and then, he came in, and he was a key factor going down the stretch for them. Obviously it was their pitching. Now, and the Giants can, and again, I'm not as intimate with the Giants club as much more about them. It seems that this Rafael Devers thing has been just a disaster.
Nothing there. He's got all the potential in the world.
I've
Potential is
heard.
going to get me fired.
Well, I've heard people saying, "Well, he's hurt. He's this. He's that." I mean, a couple of times I've seen him. He doesn't look like he wants to be anywhere near where he is.
He's thinking himself out of baseball.
Well, I don't know if he's disgruntled over whatever happened, with Boston, and it doesn't seem like he's been able to let it go.
Well, Boston's just said, we're not playing any games with you.
Yeah.
We understand you don't want to play first. You want to play third. You're not playing third. You won't play first, so we'll see you.
And, he's not helping. He's certainly not helping the Giants right now. I mean, he's helping himself because he got this big contract and he doesn't have to worry about, because he's going to get paid no matter what.
That is the truth. I don't know if he believes that, but that's the situation we're in financially and legally.
Which is one of the things that's always been, I don't know, a sticking, a sore point for me is I mean, back in the day, if you didn't perform at the end of the season, you got cut, you got your salary cut, you got whatever it was. I mean, a lot of these guys now have these long-term deals. If they don't like the manager, or they don't like two of their teammates, or they don't like the clubby, or they don't like the buffet.
And the buffet.
Screw it. I'm just not gonna go out there and perform to the best of my ability. And
if you got a team that wants, if you got a team that, if you got a team that won't score runs, won't, just doesn't seem to be able to score them. Runners in the scoring position means nothing to the Giants right now. Well, take a look at those results, and how do you extrapolate them? How do you make a chart or a pie chart for the rest of the season without saying, I need somebody to hit the ball, and if you can't do it, I'll get someone who will. And that's been my mantra for the last 10 years. Hit the ball, or I'll get someone who will. And really, that's the only choice you got.
Yeah, but when you're on the hook for, I forget what his contract is, but I know it's it's close to 500 million, isn't it? Or somewhere in that neighborhood.
And he's got a lot of years on it.
And he's got and they took the whole thing on.
Yep. In the
offseason, maybe they ought to send Buster Posey to baseball school.
Send him to a business college.
Because Al Rosen would have never made a deal like that. And Al Rosen made some deals. Al Rosen, the former general manager of the Giants in some of their glory years in the 80s, had some great years, had some bad years.
Never won at all.
But never seemed to get stuck with some. Well, I don't know. Did he do Rennie Stennett?
Rennie wasn't around that long.
But was Al? I don't think Al was the GM when the Giants signed Rennie. Was he?
That I don't recall.
Yeah, because I mean, Rennie was. I mean, he was the previous Giants' biggest bust, wasn't he?
Your name sounds like someone put a card in the front tire of a bicycle. Renderstender.
Anyway,
I'm away from my desk, by the way.
yeah. Well, I have this woman calling me up that wants to sell me Medicare advice,
Just the advice.
and I keep telling her the advice is I advise Medicare. Please try to keep me alive. Anyway, so baseball wise, it was if you were a Mariner fan, it was a great weekend, and I like the dynamic with the Mariners and the Astros. They're turning into two teams that, the Mariners really haven't had a rival. I mean, it's, the natural rival that they stick us with is the Padres.
But that doesn't make any sense. They don't even know what league they're in.
The only reason that there's a rivalry there is they decided that there was a rivalry there is one of two things. Number one, these were the last two teams left. And they just said, okay, these two will play each other and we'll call it a rivalry. Or
they're three big states apart.
It's they train in the same facility. So I always thought they should call it the parking space rivalry or the parking space series, because obviously people get pissed off about somebody being in somebody else's parking space at the spring training facility. So that would be a series for me, the parking space rivalry.
Well, I thought my nickname was Big Dumper. I thought I could park here.
Yeah. Well, why are you taking up two spaces? Because big dump. I use two toilet bowls at home.
Extra wide, super wide.
Exactly. So I don't know. I sure like to see the Mariners and the Astros become that rivalry series, because they're really two teams that don't like each other.
But the Mariners get to be the good guys in this face-off, and the Astros
are always
the bad guys.
Bad guys against the Astros, and they don't do it. It's interesting because it's not done with hate and malice. It's not a thing that we dislike you because you cheated and you continue to cheat. And the Mariners is this great, this wonderful team of nice people who don't cheat. Yeah, they charge $91 for soda, but they don't cheat. The price is clearly posted, but they don't seem to like each other much, and so I think that's what a rivalry is supposed to be, because you remember rivalries in your day, in my day. The players didn't stand at first base and talk to each other.
Not in the Giants and the Cardinals. They hated each other.
And the Giants and the Dodgers. That you didn't fraternize with the other guy.
Willie Mays said there will be blood.
Yeah, and I don't, and it hasn't occurred, and it seems to me that the Astros and the Mariners are in that same kind of or have developed that same rivalry to the degree that it can be developed with the modern day political correctness and
Texas against Washington.
Yeah, it's people in this state tend not to like each other. People in this state tend to not like people in Texas, and yeah, it just doesn't.
Is that the governor of Texas calling?
Yeah, it was. It was the mayor of Dallas saying, "I told Kennedy to make a left on that corner."
Well, doesn't listen to me. Yeah.
Wouldn't listen to me, and then look at what happened. So, but I like the rivalry. I like the juice. I like that there's people showing up with T-shirts that say Astros suck, or actually they say assholes suck.
Oh my!
Which is a whole different. I mean, I don't know how you.
I don't know if that can be proven.
But these are two teams that are really seem to me to be developing a strong and healthy dislike for each other.
They play.
And I like that. I mean, that's where those are places you want to see dislike for each other is in sports. I don't want to see it on the freeway, and I don't want to see it, in school, and I don't want to see it on the subway, and I don't want to see it in walking down the street. But if it's, two teams on a baseball field, go ahead and don't like each other.
Those kind of disagreements rarely help the freeway traffic move. It doesn't help.
Yeah, no, it always seems to stop it. So we find ourselves in a situation, I believe, this morning, Michael, where our teams are whole golden, are what are heritage teams. Our teams we grew up with are sucking it big time. But as far as me, and for an adopted team, for a team that I will never care about as much as the Mets, but will still care about immensely. They have some they got some work to do. And so
got some explaining to do.
By the way, if you're flying today, don't
take Alaska.
Don't take Alaska. That's a mess.
All they did was they grounded their whole fleet as a precaution. That gives you some idea what they have, what's wrong with their business plan today.
Well, if you're, I mean, listen, Alaska has a tough record on some things. If the door falls off your plane, you'd like the computer at the front of the plane, in front of the pilot, to know what happened, right?
We got AI for that now. Don't worry.
If you can't be sure of it, maybe you don't want to sit the plane down.
Sure. Who's sure? I mean, we're fairly confident. Here's the deal: Giants won't score runs. Alaska won't fly planes. They're two of the very same teams.
Well, no, I'm not going to knock Alaska. I mean, Alaska has its problems, but I still will fly Alaska before I'll fly anybody else. It's a good. I think it's a good airline.
Not today.
But not today. I won't fly before I fly anybody else. Well, it's going to take them a while to get it straightened out. But I think that
did they lose the keys to the plane? Is that it? Did they lose them?
Well, no. But overall, it's in this world of that we depend on computers and electronics and all of this stuff. If it was the old days, Pappy Boyington would get in the plane and start it up and fly it to Juneau.
Patuter Pashmuter. I'm taking this thing to Spokane. I think that's how you say it.
Yeah. I was watching. What was I watching? Oh, I was watching some World War II thing last night to fall asleep. I've taken to watching World War II documentaries.
Well, as bad as the news is, you know who wins.
Yeah, you know who wins. The enemies are clear, and you may not like them, but you know them.
Oh yeah.
So they were doing this thing around the end of the war when Mussolini was, consulting with Hitler to figure out what his future was.
What are we going to do here? What are you doing?
And Hitler was basically telling him, here, take a leather coat and wear things around your neck that aren't collapsible, so that when they string you up, maybe it won't choke you. But Mussolini had to get into this plane from this small airport in Italy to a bigger airport where he could get into a bigger plane to fly to Germany. And the sound of the plane sounded like a 62 Fiat with no muffler.
Not reassuring.
No, I wouldn't have gotten that plane. And it showed me a bit of balls on Mussolini to get into that plane because it didn't look sturdy.
Didn't look like it was the right idea.
So anyway, it didn't look like some way that you wanted to fly anywhere. You know, if something sounds like that and it's a car, you know, generally you can pull it over to the side of the road and just get out of it and call a taxi.
Push the SOS button.
Yeah. Well, we all know where that'll get you these days. But if you're in an airplane and you have to rely on whatever it is, I think, Mikey, that you have some decisions to make. And so I'm glad that the people at the airline said, you know what? Let's just park them.
Let's be certain about this. I don't want to find out the other way.
You know, and what I laugh about is that, you know, all these people are making such a, you know, oh my God, I'm so, well, what would you rather do? Would you rather them just not tell you about it and you get in the plane and all of a sudden they're flying over Boise and they're looking down at
Boise,
it?
Maybe, but who knows? Boise's, you know, I don't even know where it is. Who's to say we're ever going to get there? I mean, we might not. Boise's a tough place to go.
The pilot comes out of the cockpit and he asks somebody in first class, does this look familiar to you?
Has anybody been to Boise? Show of hands. Show of hands. Anybody been to Boise? Anybody? Nobody. Somebody. Come on, doctor. Is there a doctor?
Anybody in first class got any idea which way we'll go? I mean, that kind of looks like I-90 down there.
I think that's where land. Could be.
I'm not sure about it.
Idaho's a mystery to a lot of pilots. They don't want to talk about it.
Well, it's so short, you know, so you know, in that little panhandle thing that you go over. I mean, by the time you figure out that you're in it, you're out of it.
See, Spolpaki doesn't have a panhandle. No panhandles.
There's no, they were, you know, they did a smart thing. They looked at West Virginia and they said the idiots that put the borders around this state gave it 2 panhandles.
Yeah, what's wrong here? What's wrong with this picture? 2 panhandles.
We don't want anything like that, so we want no panhandles.
And we don't want the pan without panhandle.
We don't want a jar opening. We don't want a rest stop. We don't want nothing. So
they don't even have. Well, they've only got one frontage road, but it's quite a frontage road, I will say.
Yeah, they got, you know, they're trying to cut. They don't have a budget.
They could have had one. They said no budget, no panhandle, no budget.
Well, they said, listen, we put 2 panhandles here, like West Virginia did. We're going to have a budget for it.
Yeah.
And, you know, the motto.
They made the right decision.
I don't hear anybody in Slovakia complaining about it.
No, you don't.
You don't see massive protests downtown.
We want our panhandle. We need a panhandle.
You know, you don't see people running around the streets of the capital of Gazorch.
We got a perfectly good pan. Look at this pan. It's a beautiful pan.
Yeah.
What's it not have? It has no handle. Well, that's a cost saving. It's the best way to go.
It's cast iron, and listen, we got these things cheap because they didn't have a handle. You know, you get a kitchen towel and you wrap it around your hand and you pick it up.
You pick it up and don't try it the other way. You'll only do that once.
Well, yeah. What do you need a handle for?
I agree.
You pick it up right off the stove.
Overrated. Texas got a panhandle. They never use it.
Well, Texas, you know, I mean, Texas doesn't use a lot of things that they have.
Florida's got a panhandle. It's an ugly panhandle. It's a damn ugly panhandle. It'll be a much more interesting place without it. That panhandle should be Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. Texas. I mean, they have a river that runs through it, and somehow they said, it'd be a good idea. We have this camp for children.
I know.
Why don't we take the cabins that are over there and just move them over into the floodplain, because this way we'll have to pay less to clean them every year.
It's a turnkey operation.
Yeah, I mean, when have you heard anybody in Texas do anything smart?
No, I'm gonna hold off on that answer. I don't think I've got an answer for you. The Astros.
No.
No, that's a bad example. No, never mind.
They're not smart. I mean, they built they built a stadium. I mean, their first stadium that they used in 1962. When you used to watch the games on Sundays, they used to have to play them at night because it was so hot. And then, even though it was cooled down a little bit, they had these mosquitoes that you could literally see on the TVs. I mean, they didn't have any high definition TV.
You can hear them coming.
They had these high definition mosquitoes.
It's the size of a blackbird.
Yeah, I mean, you could see the thing on what was those 15-inch screens in those days? I mean, in 1965.
And the rule in Texas is do not talk about the skeeters. Not a word. Not a word. And don't mention the panhandle. They're worse there than anywhere.
Well, you can't talk about them. You can't. The only thing they encourage you to do in Texas is to eat them.
No.
If you catch one, they're proteinous, so go ahead and eat it.
It sounds like something they do in Seattle, actually, eat the skeeters.
Yeah. Eat the Skeeters. No, that's actually a new band. Eat the Skeeters.
Band or is that more rural?
Yes, I went out to see him this weekend. Eat the Skeeters. So I spent a relaxing day on Mount Baker yesterday.
Was Skeeter Davis up there?
No. But I wish she would have been. Who was her singing partner? I'm trying to remember now.
No, not George Jones.
Was it George? I think it was George Jones.
I'm sure they do well.
What Dolly Parton it must have been.
Oh, that was Porter Wagoner.
Yeah, that was Porter Wagoner, but it was Skeeter Davis and George Jones, wasn't it?
It was George Jones and Tammy Wynette.
Mm.
They were an LUV love.
Well, but they were all in love with somebody else's. I mean,
it's the Panhandle effect.
They all sang about being in love with their wife or their girlfriend, but they were all in love with somebody else.
That's the way the song goes.
Beat me up, I love you.
Make me live in the Panhandle.
Oh. What's the big city in the Panhandle? Is it Amarillo? Amarillo, right?
Is that a big city?
Well, if you're in the Panhandle, it is.
A Panhandle answer. Typical Panhandle answer. Even the answers are different in the Panhandle.
Spending a day one time in a place called Shamrock, Texas.
Oh, was it green or was it brown?
It was brown, actually. This is when I was moving to California or on the way to California.
Don't let the sun go down on you in the Panhandles, kid.
But the thing that shocked me, and this was 1970, 1980, is that the entire town was full of Indians, from India, Indians. Everybody you ran into in the town. I mean, I remember we stayed in a hotel, and it was run by Indians. and went to the diner, and it was run by Indians. And we gassed up at a gas station, and that was run by Indians. Everybody in the town that we ran into were Indians from India, Indians, Bangladesh or whatever they were, but they were Indians.
That's a bit of a surprise.
It was a surprise to me. I mean, I'm figuring you're going to drive through this town and run into some Indians of a different feather.
Yeah.
But these were very nice people.
At least you could get some Indian food if you wanted a curry before you left town.
Well, but you know what? It was funny. There wasn't, and I like Indian food, but there wasn't. There was Saeed's All American Diner, on Main Street, but
they didn't have tikka masala, did they?
No, I didn't see naan. I didn't see any of that stuff, man. I saw, bacon and eggs and grits.
That's how they do it in New Delhi. On that New Delhi freight train.
It's a New Delhi.
New Delhi line.
But it was, but it was just shocking to come across this town, and it was just.
So if you want a pastrami on rye, you got to go to Delhi, not New Delhi.
Well, you don't want to go to New Delhi for that. Well, I don't know if you can even get a pastrami because, again, one of the cardinal rules, is it not? That you don't need meat.
Yeah, but this is the Panhandle. They've been rules there.
Well, see, that's the thing. Again, you come into the same thing. Is that all of a sudden you're in beef country, Texas, y'all, and these people, people are over there petting the cows instead of hitting them with a sledgehammer.
Well, I understand that's one way to go. It's not the Texas way, but what do I know? I've never been to Amarillo.
Well, how do you? I mean, I always thought that was the way that you get in the slaughterhouse and one right between the eyes.
In the Panhandle, though, it's hard to tell which one's a slaughterhouse and which one's just a regular house. That's true.
What's Kurt Vonnegut's house?
Ooh.
Slaughterhouse 5, right?
I know. That's exactly. It's got a big number on it.
I figured it was an appropriate place to throw it in.
Slaughterhouse 6, you don't want to go there.
And 4 ain't enough. Anybody that's been to a slaughterhouse will tell you that 6 is never, 4 is never enough.
6 is too many, and it's your fault for being in the Panhandle. So I have no mercy. You knew what you were getting into, people.
You think Jeffrey Epstein is still alive?
In somebody's mind, yes.
You think that was a somebody?
No, I think that's the one thing they got right. They offed him as quickly as they could.
Somebody said to me yesterday, was having a conversation with me, saying that Epstein was that they believed that Epstein was alive, that he didn't get offed.
Not Brian Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein. And that's part of what this whole controversy is about, is because all of a sudden somebody's going to find out that he's living in a small apartment in Queens.
And he's got the files with him.
Somebody's got them files, and somebody don't want anybody to see them.
Well, the FBI's got 1,000 pages of documents.
Well,
they don't want to show them to anybody. It's not part of a prosecution. It's just gathered information, not precisely evidence.
Well, that wouldn't happen if J. Edgar Hoover had anything to say about it.
No. Remember, J. Edgar Hoover said, "No mafia doesn't exist. Trust me on this."
Trust me on this. There's no mafia, and they were doing his lawn.
They were doing these half-size dresses.
Yeah, he'd take a trip to the garment district 3 or 4 times a year to pick up the latest fashions.
And he looked good in black. You got to admit it. Very stately.
I know. I don't have to admit that.
Well, in the Panhandle,
he was not a pretty man.
He wasn't svelte.
Well, not even svelte. He just didn't. He had that look of somebody who'd
He had the
been run
schmata.
over by a tire a few times.
He had the schmata look.
He didn't. He just didn't look like somebody you wanted to sit across from at dinner.
Is this a house dress or is this just a schmata? It's a simple
Well,
schmata.
that's that's the funny thing is was he wearing a house dress? What was he wearing? How do you? I mean, where do you go if you're at J. Edgar Hoover? Lobins or Robins or? I mean, I don't think there was a big and tall girls store in those days, was there?
Bloomingdale's had a big girls department.
No. I used to go by Bloomingdale's. They didn't have a big. If you were over size 6, you didn't get anything in Bloomingdale's.
Lord and Taylor might have.
You may as well just keep walking. No, nothing on Fifth Avenue, Michael. There was no big girl store or big man store.
Can we get something in Brooklyn?
That's basically where you had to go. Yeah, or Delancey Street at the very least. You could have Delancey Street. You could get something.
Canal Street for something that you want to pick up just today in a hurry.
And the good thing is you could pick it up down there on a Sunday.
Yeah. Which
was always, I thought, a good thing. There was a time when stores weren't open on Sunday, and if you wanted to buy something, some clothes,
you had to go to the Panhandle.
you had to go literally to the Panhandle of Manhattan. Well, it's interesting because Manhattan has 2 panhandles too.
Well, it's a city with some problems.
But to their credit, they took away one of the panhandles in Manhattan.
Which one?
Well, the lower one, because remember the bottom of Manhattan used to kind of come to like this and then to the Battery. But many years ago, as they were building the World Trade Center, they decided to take that bottom panhandle and put a place called Battery Park City in there. And so it extended the island of Manhattan and took away one of the panhandles. So now the only panhandle you have is the one that's in Washington Heights and north of, the 207th and 210th and 220, Upper Manhattan.
Well, that's really up there.
Well, it's where the Polo Grounds was. That's a panhandle. I mean, you're at 125th Street. Manhattan is what? What am I so popular this morning? I go to voicemail. At 125th Street, it was the whatever, I forget, 12, 15 blocks wide. But once you got up above 125th, the Harlem River cut in, and it cut down considerably the width of Manhattan. And
creating against all logic a panhandle.
Right. And so you had this long panhandle. It went from, 130th to 207th to 220th.
It's a sizable panhandle.
30th Street. A long panhandle. That's a few miles.
Yeah.
So
for a state, it's a small panhandle. For a city, it's a lot to handle.
Yeah, it's not a panhandle you want to deal with. But anyway, they had 2 of them. So we were talking about panhandles before, and there I am, not even recognizing that my own city had a considerable panhandle, two panhandles.
California doesn't have a panhandle. It's got some kinks and twists. It's got some lakes and it's got some borders, but no panhandle. And it's got an ocean.
Well, no, wait a minute. I mean, you could consider. You would consider San Francisco a panhandle?
No.
As a matter of fact, what the hell is the name of the park that runs from Baker Street to Stanton Street?
Well, there's a panhandle in the park.
There you go.
But it's a leafy panhandle.
Well, but it's a panhandle nonetheless, and
Yeah.
everybody calls it the panhandle. Matter of fact, if you look on road maps, it probably says right on the map, panhandle.
And if you play there, you play for free.
Well,
you
yeah.
You thought you were getting paid. That's a panhandle joke.
No, I mean, I used to live right on the corner of the panhandle.
Phil Street.
Yeah, I lived on Fell and Schrader, which was 1 block from Stanion.
Not far from Stanion. Not far from Rod. Stanion Street and Other Sorrows. Rod who?
McEwen.
Rod McEwen.
Yeah. Well, there used to be, when I first got to San Francisco, there was one of the things that I really loved about it, of many things, is there was a, they would have the turret type windows on the top floor of a building on the corner.
The Victorian buildings, yes.
Yeah, those Victorian buildings, they'd have that turret where it was
They call those buildings they call them the Painted Ladies.
Yeah, but this one was it was different because it was like an apartment building. It wasn't like what would be a 1-family Victorian.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, there used to be a guy who would play saxophone, starting usually around 2:00 in the morning. My guess was he would come home from a bar
and inspiration struck.
Have gotten liquid inspiration and pick up his saxophone.
I like that.
And start playing it at 2:00 in the morning. All of a sudden you'd hear it, but he was so good that you didn't complain. You just said, well, his concert start time is a bit different than everybody else's.
It's the city. What are you going to do?
And you'd go, if it was a nice night, you'd go sit in the park and listen to it. Or you just open up your windows, because I lived like a house, a couple of houses down from this building.
It would echo down the streets.
And it'd go through the backyards, yeah. And it was a gorgeous, I don't know, just thing that happened in the neighborhood. So you'd go have a couple of cocktails at Murio's Trophy Room, late at night, and then walk home, stay up at 2:00 in the morning, because there was those big 36 channels of cable that you had, and and you'd hope that at 2:00 or 2:15 or 2:30 or whatever it was, that this guy had start blowing. It's one of the beautiful things about living in San Francisco.
You couldn't time it. You couldn't predict it. It just happened when it happened.
It happened when it happened. And if you were lucky, it happened. And if you could stay awake, you knew it happened, and you could document it in your mind. But you weren't sure it was going to happen. It wasn't a scheduled or planned thing. It's just a man and a saxophone.
Meeting in the night.
Yeah. Just entertaining the neighborhood.
How many times do you think you heard him play?
Well, I lived there 81, 82, 83. I mean, I lived there until 84. So over 4 years, a few hundred times.
Wow.
And the best nights usually were rainy. There were, those rainy winter nights. And
with the weather coming in that neighborhood.
Yeah, because that's where the fog rolls down the panhandle.
Right.
And there it is. So that was a beauty. It was really just a really cool, and it was, the hate hadn't turned into what it is now, or it wasn't as bad as it had been, but it was kind of, they were trying to fix it up. So you didn't have the crappy neighborhood that it was from probably the entire 70s.
There's that area and is being resettled.
Yeah, it wasn't they didn't call it gentrified then. They just called it nicer people moving in.
We're getting some different people. They're going to start living here. You'll see the difference.
But they had, the big all night thing was the Mighty Viking sub shop that, for whatever reason, stayed open until 5 o'clock in the morning,
making subs.
So if you were, if you were somebody who felt like you wanted a sandwich while you were listening to the sax guy, you could go up to Mighty Viking to the Viking and order a Mighty Viking, and they'd whip it up, heat it up. It was a heated sub, and
I tried to go to a new
potato
chicken
salad
place
for about $5.
There's a new chicken place in Pasadena called Howlin' Ray's. Howlin' Ray's. You can't get near the place. The line was 2 blocks long.
Yeah, it's amazing how chicken is really kind of taken on.
You can get it hot. You can get it very hot. You can get it too hot. You can get it panhandle hot.
The Tennessee chicken and all this different. There's a place that Lee Brinkman. I don't know. Do you know Lee Brinkman, who used to do the sound at the Great American Music Hall?
No.
Really nice guy. Lee was, he did the sound there for years, and he just put something on Facebook like yesterday or the day before about this chicken place in Oakland that he goes to. And I can't remember the name of it. I gotta, look it up. But so far, I've been lazy enough to not look up how far the Mets are out in the wild card. But, and of course, up here you got Ezel's. But I have to tell you that there's a
rush on the chicken.
Well, yeah, there's a rush on the chicken, but you
chicken.
can take all of these places and put them down put them down because there's a I don't know what you would call it even, but it's a
panhandle
franchise of chicken called Crispy Crunchy Chicken. And so far, the only place that I've seen, and I know where 3 or 4 of them are, and they're all in gas stations. They're all in it's gas station chicken. And I would
one of those in Wenatchee that was pretty good.
Yeah, I would challenge you to show me a better chicken. It's a great piece of chicken. And the other odd thing about the place is that it's run by Indians. But again, going back to
from Amarillo,
brown Indians as opposed to the red Indians.
Well, you mean like the Reds?
Politically correct to say, but
no, it's not. That's why Donald Trump wants you to keep saying it. Redskins.
I thought we were going to get through a whole day without mentioning Trump, but anyway. Yeah, but the chicken is far superior, and I actually discovered my nephew and his mom and dad were up here on a visit, and we saw the sign. We actually had to go to the bathroom, and went in this Union 76 station out in North Bend, and when you open the door to go into the gas station to go to the bathroom,
chicken.
You were wafted. I mean, this smell just hit you, and it was like it was. I mean, you were like,
I gotta have it.
I gotta have it. Give me a drumstick. I don't care. Just give me something of that chicken.
The
And
book knows.
yeah, and it's the as I said, better than Kentucky, better than Church's, better than any of the chickens I've had.
Popeyes.
Popeyes. Popeyes isn't that. Popeyes is more bullshit than poetry. It's an okay piece of chicken, but it's not.
Nothing special.
I don't think so. I think there's what was that there was a chain that was in Oakland that I think was based out of Oakland many years ago. They had one on Telegraph Avenue and like 42nd Street or something like that.
Is it chicken and waffle?
No, it wasn't a chicken waffle. It was like a fast food chicken place. And man, I can't remember the name of it, but what I distinctly remember is if you bought like a 3-piece box or something like that, they had incredible mashed potatoes and gravy. And they had jalapeno peppers that were from heaven. And you took and you couldn't eat a bite of the chicken without placing the jalapeno pepper on that bite that you were going to take and eat it like that. The whatever the combination, how they got it to set up so the jalapeno was so integral to the taste of the chicken.
Release the secret taste.
It was phenomenal, and this place was
busy
on the corner. I mean, I was working right near the place, and I remember lucky enough, and it was cheap. It was the 3-piece box with a biscuit and a jalapeno pepper and
coleslaw.
Coke was $4.
And that was on Telegraph, you think?
Yeah, it was like 40. So I worked on 40th. There's 1, 2. So like 42nd and Telegraph. Which was, I mean, that was when, it was a wild neighborhood because it was half whacked out cocaine dealers.
Half. That's too many.
And half kind of people who were looking for a deal on a house. So they bought in the neighborhood full of cocaine dealers. And probably more often got hooked into cocaine.
Yeah. That did happen.
Said I knew there was a reason I was moving to this neighborhood.
Hey, Vinnie, what are you doing Wednesday?
I'm thinking to myself that about 10:10 on Wednesday morning, I'll turn on the Patuta, and you and I will appear on a screen and allow for people to listen to the information that we've accumulated over a day and 2 days of not trying to stay away from everything.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because that's what I was thinking too.
Well, I would say that we should do that only if the Lord's willing, and this again goes back to Texas, only if the creek don't rise.
Well, I'm willing to do it as long as we don't do it in a panhandle and we make sure the Spopakia gets another frontage road, and then I'm in.
Well, I would think, yeah, we haven't brought up the frontage roads in a while, which I think would be a perfect place to put one of those crispy, crunchy chicken.
Yeah, now you're talking.
Places. It's interesting. It's not a franchise. It's a
thing, a way of
life. I don't know if they just call up and they get a kit, like a deep fryer and
like Lincoln Logs.
Yeah, and some chicken, and they send it to you in a box, and you open it up, and you get a sign, and you put the sign in front of the house, and people start showing up for chicken.
And tell him the secret to selling a lot of chicken is when the guy's on the way to the bathroom, he's got to smell the chicken.
You got to smell the chicken. I mean, old man Ezel will tell you that the whole secret to the whole thing
Smell the chicken.
is that you smell the chicken.
Live the life. Smell the chicken.
Wake up
Stay
and
off
smell
the
the chicken.
panhandle. Yeah. Get out of here and smell the chicken.
Falabee's is the chicken place he was talking about. I just remember the name of it. Falabee's or something like that. They're in Oakland.
Follow
And
me.
again, I've never heard of them, but I'd certainly like to try your
The one down there was too busy is Howlin' Ray.
Howlin' Ray's. Any relation to Ray Charles?
No, not that I know. Ray may have howled now and again, but this guy, Howlin' Ray, apparently howls all the time. And there's plenty of people in line in 90-degree heat, so something's right.
Well, again, wouldn't you be better served to call it Squawkin' Ray's if it was a chicken place?
I see what you're saying, but that's not what they did. They're howling.
Well, I like my crispy, crunchy gas station chicken. Maybe it's that it's made in motor oil. I don't know.
It's not. It could be trans fluid.
And they overcook the corn in this place, which I love. You know how you get that corn on the cob that's browned and it's overcooked and it's soaked in butter and you don't care?
You do not register a complaint.
It's, and it's 50 cents an ear.
And so this is another couple of reasons why Alaska won't land in Boise. They just won't do it until the chicken gets a makeover.
Well, again, they'd rather have some. They don't want the pilot coming out of the thing.
The cockpit.
Coming out of the cockpit with a Texaco or a Gulf map, asking people, "Does this look out the window? Does this look familiar?"
First, say, "Have you got a minute?"
Yeah. Can I interrupt your drink? Can I interrupt your free drink? I don't want to go back and ask the people how to pay for their drinks.
No.
I'd rather stop and ask you people. You paid extra for your tickets.
So let's talk.
You paid 3 times what they paid to sit in the front of the plane. It's probably the most expensive cocktail you've ever had.
But do you know the way to Boise?
Yeah. Or Nampa. Can you get me to Nampa?
Got nothing. I can't even begin to tell you how to get there.
If you get me to Nampa, I could probably figure out which way to go to Boise.
Well, that's a good point.
Anyway, yeah, let's hook up on Wednesday. And we'll invite all of the people who are listening to us now to please listen to us then.
That's a good idea. That's a fine idea.
And we'll try to have we'll try to. What we're going to do on Wednesday is we're going to do this whole show exactly in reverse.
And parts of it will make sense. You'll hear the word panhandle, you'll hear Boise, you'll hear chicken, but it won't be in the right order. It'll be backwards.
No, we mix it. It's like the match game. We mix it up a little bit. No, concentration.
That's
yeah. Where you just mix it up a little bit and you go. Let's see. How about 26?
Also, dominoes. When they mix up the dominoes, they put them down face down, then they mix them up. They don't mix them up. They just push them around a little bit so they know where that 12 is. Yeah,
it's all practice for a 3-card Monty.
Yes, damn right. Have a good day, Vinnie.
And anybody who's ever been to New York knows that when you see a 3-card Monty, you say goodbye.
Yeah, a phony Rolex can't be far away.
Peace, love, and Manischewitz.
What a wine. In fact, what a chicken. Goes great with wine.
All right. Oh, it's a duck, isn't it? All right. I'll see you on Wednesday, Mikey. Take care of yourself.
See you, Vin. See you, everyone.
All right. Take care. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to us. I'm glad you could bear it. Bye-bye.